Okay, this is continuing on radical functions. So this will be the parent function for our square roots. And what this will look like, it has a characteristic shape. Remember, we have characteristic shapes of lots of different things. You'll recall that the parabola swoops down, comes up, symmetrical. We just got done doing with quadratics. So this one is the parent function of the quadratic. We've also done lines. Y equals x, so y equals x squared is the parent function of the parabola of the quadratic. Y equals x is the parent function of the line. And the y equals the square root of x is going to be also a really characteristic thing, and it's going to look about like that. And that'll be the parent function of it. We also did other parent functions. We did exponential curve, which if you've been watching the news, we're kind of dealing with exponential curves right now with the spread of this nasty virus. Okay, so they'll look like this. They may get taller or shorter. For example, if we have here a parent function, so this one's going to be y equals the square root of x. We will say that it is shrunk. Oh, remember the shrunk and stretched stuff? Remember all of that? Yeah, Froggy knows shrunk and stretched. Show it to me, Froggy. Okay, shrunk. Remember, it's always vertical. Okay, so if we have Froggy here, and we're going to stretch him. So we call it stretched when he comes up like this. Ooh, poor belly button. Let's go this way. Okay. He'd kind of come up this way and stretch. So what that would look like would be up here for y equals x. Or shrunk. Remember, it's always vertical. It's never horizontal. So it's going to be shrunk. It's going to be squish Froggy this way. So this one would be stretched. And this one would be shrunk. And that's consistent with the things that we've already had. Okay, so for example, this will be a stretch if it's multiplied. So what this would look like then would be y equals some number times the square root of x. Kind of like when we were, whoa, that's hard to see, I'm sorry. There we go. Okay, so there we go. Y equals some number times the square root of x. And in this case, if the number is bigger than 10, it is, if the number is bigger than 1 that's multiplied by it, then it is stretched. And here, if the number that it's multiplied by, again, y equals n times the square root of x, if the number it's multiplied by is a fraction between 0 and 1, then it will be shrunk. Okay. This is very similar. Remember the parabola? When you squished it down, it got big and wide and held the Dr. Pepper. And when you stretched it up, it got narrow and didn't hold so much Dr. Pepper or some Diet Dr. Pepper. Okay? So same deal. When the parabola was stretched, it was when the thing you multiplied by the x term was bigger than 1, and here it's shrunk when it's less than 1, and of course bigger than 0. That was analogous to the lines because the lines were more steep when they're multiplied, when x is multiplied by a whole number, and less steep when it's multiplied by a fraction. Okay, let's look at the domain of these things. Okay, what's the domain going to be? Let's take the blue one right here. Okay, remember domain is what could x be? Well, what could x be?